Alright guys, so in this first clip I want to go over my favorite spots on reserve, okay? And before we get into the clip, what I want to say is that no matter what map you're on, I've found it best to get to a place, no matter where your spawn is, try to get to where you are going fast, and try to use a location that's close to the spawn that you got. So in this case, I got a really crappy spawn. I'm between all the warehouses, so I'm just gonna cut to the corner warehouse, or the corner sniper tower, which happens to be my favorite spot to do this task on reserve. So I'm heading there now in this clip here, and let's go ahead and fast forward to getting there. Alright, so I'm rolling up on the I keep saying warehouse. I'm rolling up on the sniper tower now. This one is in the far right corner of the map if you're looking at Dome. And this one, like I said, happens to be my favorite spot, and that's because I found a lot of success in this corner here. For one, when you're in this corner, you get a lot of opponents coming from the train side, okay? So if you happen to spawn at this tower, which is a spawn or close to it, you can see players running in from the train. You get view of the red sniper tower. You get view of the right over here. And this is my favorite spot right here. So if you lay down in this spot, you get to scope out the entire rock side front here. You can see the dome, the whole front of the rock, the dome. If players are camping up in the dome, you can see them there. These windows, sometimes players like to sit in the windows. Something to keep in mind here is that when you are in this spot, if you are shooting up at the dome, that's roughly 300 meters. Okay, so that's a really far shot. So you're gonna have to compensate quite a bit in your scopes when you're using or when you're shooting up in that direction. For me, when I'm using the Voodoo, which is what I run 99% of the time for this task, I found that in order to shoot with a sniper up at those hills, so a bolt action rifle up at the hills, I generally have to go 3 to 4 clicks up. So that's a pretty drastic change. It depends on the sniper, the specific sniper you're using, but in general with the SV98, it's usually about 3 clicks up. Again, that can vary depending on the gun you're using, but that's something to keep in mind too, because otherwise you're gonna miss your shots. The last thing you want to do is spook them and have them run off. So again, this is my favorite spot right here in this tower. So let's go ahead and roll to the next spot. Alright, so the next spot that you can run, and this is probably my least favorite location to do this task, is this corner sniper tower here. It's by the one marked room and near the bunkers. And if you're looking at the dome, this is the back right corner. So directly behind the sniper tower we were just looking at. This one's not bad. The good thing about this tower is it does have the lights on it, which kind of block people's vision from being able to see you at a distance. You don't get a bad sight. You can see over the bunkers here. You can see over at train. You can look at the other sniper tower to the left. You can see the one that we were in. Again, you can lay down here on the stairs. You get kind of a narrow view, but you can see this is generally a high traffic area, so you can see some good vantage points from there. So again, not my favorite location, but it is something you can do. Before I go into the next location, I do want to say that this tower in particular is a very high trafficked one. There's a lot of loot at the top of it, so it's very common for player scavs or people who are going for loot runs to hit this tower. So that is something to keep in mind. As with all the towers, on this map in particular, I always recommend that you run a suppressor on your sniper. And this map in particular, I really recommend running a suppressor. The suppressor is going to help you kind of avoid attention and keep people from pushing you in the towers, because if they do push you in the towers, it's going to be really hard. You're really at a disadvantage if they decide to push up, especially if they have any sort of close range or assault rifle or anything like that. It's not a bad idea to run a pistol on this map either. Alright, so for these next towers, I kind of just grazed by them, so I'm going to pause here real quick. They're really popular towers, and I don't really recommend hanging out in them. Their vantage points are pretty good, but because their vantage points are good, like I said, a lot of people like to rush to these towers when they're doing this task. So this one you see off to the left here, it's on the other side of the bunkers from where we just were. It's got the machine gun mounted on it. Again, vantage points aren't too bad. They're pretty good. really high traffic area, so you do run the risk of people pushing you in this tower. So hence the reason why I kind of just graze by it here. I don't really go up into it and show the vantage points, because I really don't like using this tower. Again, if you can find a raid where nobody's pushed that tower, or this is, this area is kind of quiet, it's not a bad spot to go up into. You can scope out, you can get a decent view. Same with the next tower that we're coming up on here. All right, so this next tower in the corner here by the tank, another very, very popular tower. I would say this one's probably the most popular out of all the towers. You get a lot of people that rush this tower when they're doing this quest. And the reason for that is this one probably has the best vantage points out of all. Just because you can see, you're kind of smack dab center with this one, so you can see far to the left into the field. You can see up towards Dome. You can see to the right over on the bunkers. But like I said, a lot of people go running for this tower, so I would recommend against it. What I like to do in these hot spots is I actually like to camp them and look out for them, because these are easy kills. If you're in this tower and you have someone that is smart, they're probably going to scope this tower out when they're looking for shooterborn and having kills, especially up at the Dome. They can see down on you. So that's kind of a reason I like to stand clear of this. And like I said, I actually like to to look over in this tower when I'm trying to get kills, to see if there's people that are in it. And you'll see that in the next tower that I'm going to show you here. I'm going to go up here to show you the vantage points it has, because if you get a quiet raid, like I said, it's not a bad spot at all to be. It's actually a really good tower. It's very central to the map, so you get a lot of angles out of it. It's just very, very popular. So as you can see off to the left here, you can see the other tower in the corner there. You got the whole field to your left, the center of the buildings, rooftops, Dome across. You can see the rock fronts there. You're pretty far out, so keep that in mind. You can lay down. You get a good vantage here too. You can also see off to the right here, you get a little bit of the train area in between the warehouses to the right. So all good spots. All right, so this next tower here is another one of my favorites. I like this one a lot because it's kind of off in the distance, off in the corner. It's not a really high traffic area, which is what you want when you're doing this task. You want to be off, but you want to be able to see the high traffic areas without being in them. So this one is good for that. You get a lot of good vantage points. You can see a lot of good areas here. So from this tower, you can see, you obviously get the field in front of you, the top of the bunker over there. You get the rock front that you can see again, rooftops. You get a little bit of the rooftop over there in the distance. Again, rock front, pretty much the whole rock front from here. And of course, you get to see the Dome, which is again a high traffic area, a nice place to snipe at. You'll get a lot of people who like to sit up in these rocks and up in the Dome. I don't recommend going into either one of those areas. Again, they're just a very, very looked after place. So again, these rocks up here, if you're thinking about going up there, I really recommend doing it later in the raid, just to see if you can find some stragglers, maybe on your way to extract if you have an RR. Just because, like I said, I have gotten all of my shooterborn and heaven kills for reserve in this hillside up here. They're so easy. You can see people, they come out on the rocks, they lay down, they stand out. They're sitting still. That's a really easy shooterborn and heaven kill to get. So just like I said with the tower that's over in this corner, I highly recommend against going up there, and I do recommend against watching these areas when you are doing this task. Because the Dome, the rock side, those are all going to be easy shooterborn and heaven kills if you find someone who's also trying to do this task and they're sitting still. So again, definitely a place to look when you're doing this task at reserve. So going back, you also get, we'll fast forward it here. You also get a view of these two towers that we just touched on that I said are high traffic. You can see the train station over here. The rooftops, some people like to get up there. Again, the sniper towers we were just at, you can see there pretty well. You have to watch for the outlines of people. As you can see, when it gets a little bit foggy like this, it's kind of hard to see into it. So you just kind of have to pay attention to to the outlines of people if they happen to be in that tower. You get a little bit of the bunker in the distance there too. So, all right, guys, that's going to wrap up this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it gave you guys some useful insight on my spots on reserve. I'm going to include some videos down in the description below on all the other maps that are in Shooter Born in Heaven. So if that's interesting to you and you want to learn those spots as well, like I said, I'll include those video links down below. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys next time.